Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specialising in all things cruise, Disney and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I write cruise reviews and travel reviews over at Mini Travellers and cruise tips and tricks over at Cruising with Kids.
And today, Sarah, it's my favourite time of the year. No, not Christmas. It's the time we talk about all the holidays we have taken and the holidays we're going to take next year. So this has become a bit of a tradition of ours, and I kind of love this episode every time it comes around. But we decide to kind of use the last episode of the year as a chance to reflect on all the things we've done and the holidays we've booked, and also look ahead of what we're looking forward to as well, whether it's holidays we're taking or just new ships that are coming in the following year. So obviously, we're going to look back on 2025 and look ahead for 2026.
And as this is sort of our Christmas party, I mean, why am I doing it with a cup of coffee? Why have we not got fizz?
Do you know what? It's a bit late now because we've started filming. Maybe next year we'll put it in the calendar. We'll remember to have something to celebrate the year rather than coffee.
To have some fizz. We could just have one.
See, if I was back on Princess, I could order it on Ocean now and it would be here in about, 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a good year. It's been an exciting year, hasn't it? But then next year is also exciting.
It's funny though, looking back, because I was thinking about this yesterday. The episode we filmed this time last year, when it was like, what have you got in 2026, Kieran? I was like, nothing. I've got nothing booked, and I'm miserable because I've got nothing booked. And then to look on a year later and to kind of see what I ended up actually doing this year for my strategy of leaving it to last minute, but also as well what I've got booked, not just for 26 but also 27. I've got more booked ahead than ever before type of thing. So 2024 Kieran is very different than 2025 Kieran, who is obsessed with putting down deposits and booking things ahead.
I know. Yeah. It's nice to have. One of my friends said to me the other way, "Oh, you like to have a cruise booked?" And yes, I do. Yes, I like to know that they're coming. Something to look forward to.
Yeah. It's one thing I've learned as well, especially as we've been talking about Royal Caribbean more as well, and I've been working with Royal Caribbean, and it's something I've been reflecting on more as well, is they're one of the brands where the advice of booking earlier definitely pays off with Royal Caribbean. That's not to say that you may not find last minute deals, but Royal are very confident that for their headline ships anyway, they're kind of like top ships sailing in each region will sell out in advance, and the price will just keep going up and up and up type of thing. But then I was looking at the smaller ships, the Explorer ships for 2027, and some of the categories are already sold out for 2027 on some of their European sailings as well. So, you do need to get in early with certain brands, especially for key dates. If you have limited availability of when you can go away, you definitely need to get in there earlier with some brands.
And I think once you've got it booked as well, I think it gives you that opportunity to look in the app, and it's like with my drinks package, which I may have mentioned once or twice, but I got such a good deal on it because I kept checking, and I got it was hundreds back. It was amazing. I think I paid 78 and I got it for 46. That's a big
insane
saving.
I'm so annoyed while I was in China with no money in my bank account and just buying half of Miniso while I was in China. And I was like, I don't think I can add a drinks package at the moment. I'm currently raiding all the stores. But yeah, it does. And like you say, you've got time then to watch those sales and keep an eye on them and see if you can get a good sale. It is annoying how the pre-cruise planner works with Royal. It is frustrating that you can't just know in advance your drinks package is going to be. But you can, within reason, budget that it's going to be around about, in the UK at least, around about £50, £55 per person per day on average. Some days higher. If you're lucky, you'll get the sale like you had, which was, it wasn't a Black Friday, it was the pre-Black Friday sale, wasn't it?
No, it weren't even that. It was, when was it? God, it's months ago.
It was September time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was September.
No, it was October, beginning of October.
Oh, yeah, because it was when you was away. Yeah, it was just random. I just one morning, because as I've said before, when I'm eating my breakfast, I check the price.
Yeah.
And I nearly fell off my chair because it was £30, well over £30 difference.
I'm gutted I didn't get
per
it.
person,
but
per day. Different.
That'll teach me for not having money in my bank account.
And the thing is, once you've got it booked, even if you book it at a higher price, because I book it on my American Express, pay it off straight away, but then you could, even if you cancel and rebook, because you're going to cancel, it's going to get repaid within 30 days anyway. So then you just do that. But it's just getting it when you've got the money to do it and having the confidence to check it and think, right, I'm going to cancel it.
I keep saying to Phil, because they're now testing this all-inclusive package at the moment. And I think for our Legend sailing next October, which is a teaser for the rest of this episode, but I think it was coming in like 1,398, and that's Wi-Fi, unlimited dining package and drinks package, which sounds like an awful lot of money. But when I was breaking it all out, I think the Wi-Fi and the drinks package alone was come to 1,200. So it means basically £200 for the unlimited dining package, which...
And is that
why we haven't booked
person?
that yet is a mystery.
Is
No,
that per
total for the two
person?
of us.
So how much is that a day then?
Bear with. Where's my phone?
1,000 what? 1,000.
I think it was 1,398 off the top of my head. I don't know if it's still available because they keep threatening that it's going to go away soon, but it's been in there for a couple of weeks.
£99.
Still in my basket. I think it's about 100 a day is roughly what I think I see it down for.
I think mine's 90.
Obviously, it varies by voyage, ship sailing season, and all that type of stuff. Yeah, 1,383 for the two of us.
Yeah,
which
think
I
mine
think is a great package.
is, I'm sure it's 90, but it's like we're going with another family. So the problem is we can't do speciality dining. We'll do a couple of nights.
No.
Oh, it's 96 now. It was 91. But I might do it for Legend. But then you still have to pay extra. You don't, because obviously if you want to do like the railway carriage and all that, the Empire Supper Club, you've still got to pay extra.
This is why Phil has said not to get it, because when we were reading the T's and C's, we were like, well, teppanyaki, you've got to pay a surcharge. You've got to pay a surcharge for Royal Railway, and you've got to pay a surcharge for, as you say, the supper club as well, which we're going to probably do those three things. I still think we'd be better off knowing that that it's £200 more to add on the ultimate dining package. But at the moment, we're erring on not to get it, only because as well, which again is a spoiler for the rest of this episode, we've got a lot of other trips before our Legend trip as well that we need to pay for. So I think we're going to hold off, and we may be paying more in the long run, but that's down to our personal cash flow finances of how we're managing to pay for the multiple trips we've got booked next year already.
Do you know what though? We've started at the beginning, haven't we, San Mario? But
yeah, I know. Just so excited for next year. That again, Legend just keeps getting brought up at any opportunity I can bring it up.
Oh, well, I'm 2027, so I will be excited about it on the next episode next year. I will have fizz. Right, so okay then, let's start at the beginning.
I was going to say, because you did a cruise before I did a cruise, didn't you, this year? So what was your first cruise of the year?
My first cruise was February, and I did Celebrity Apex in the Caribbean.
Oh, I forgot all about that one as well. Oh my
Out
God.
Of Fort Lauderdale. And honestly, the ship was stunning, but it wasn't Royal Caribbean. But I mean, I love Celebrity. And do you know what? I really, really love the ships. I think the ships are stunning. The cabin, the plug situation, I found really stressful. Like I had a week of like rubbish hair trying to get things plugged in. But I loved the cabin. I loved the infinity balcony. Yeah. Fort Lauderdale was just, incredible. We stopped at Key West. So I'd say we had such an amazing cruise, and I really am all for doing another February cruise. I loved it. The only thing that I thought with the ship, even though we did love the ship, is that I missed having the boardwalk. I missed having the Royal Promenade, because everything sort of seams into one, doesn't it, on Celebrity, which the ships are stunning. But I do miss that, let's nip here and let's nip there. I feel like I'm in a little city, and I like that. But I did love it.
I will say about Celebrity, we've sailed Celebrity on a preview sailing with work, and we've done a couple of ship visits, and I love the design. I love what Celebrity do. I don't have anything negative to say about Celebrity. However, I personally, same as you, would gravitate more towards Royal. And I think it's just the vibe on board, if you get what I mean, and the nature of like things like the entertainment and that. I think Celebrity do what they're doing so well, and the ships are incredible. I think they're probably my favourite ship. But if you could maybe take some of the fun elements of what Royal do, that kind of young at heart vibe and everything, I think it's more that appeals to me. Like, and again, this is no shade on Celebrity, but when we're doing our Celebrity training and they make out as if like a silent disco is the cutting edge of nightlife, it's when I was like, I don't think we're going to get on. I don't think our nightlife is the same vibe as, you get me? Like, I can't stand a silent disco, and Celebrity love a silent disco.
I love the silent disco, but I didn't do it on Celebrity. But yeah, I just think it's that not having other venues to go to. The staff were phenomenal. The main dining, I'd say, was better than Royal Caribbean because it's a bit more slow paced, a bit more spread out.
Yeah.
Everything, all the design elements of the ship. I loved the bar. What's it called? The Rising
the
Tide
martini
bar.
bar. Oh,
And the
magic
martini
carpet.
bar. Magic carpet, that's it, not the Rising Tide. The magic carpet. So there's so much I loved about it. I'd say it's my second favourite cruise line. And I will go on them again.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're looking at a cruise for next year on them. But there was just little bits I missed from Royal. But then that's just because I think I've turned into a bit of a Royal geek. So that's a me thing.
Like I say, I can't find anything negative to say about Celebrity. I think they're great, and we've got a great relationship. I love their training manager, Leon. He's been on the podcast before with us.
Yeah.
Like I love everything about Celebrity type of thing. It's just same as you, I think, and it's a preference rather than a problem. Just they fit slightly lower down on my kind of hierarchy of who I would rush to book out of all of them. But I do think I would love to do a February kind of, winter sun cruise. We're going to Walt Disney World, which is a spoiler again for later on. Sorry, I'm so excited for next year. But that period is such a beautiful time to go away, to kind of do just any time between kind of like October through to February to get rid of winter sun, and cruising especially. There's some great prices out there if you book early enough.
Yeah, we got a really good deal on that, didn't we? And I mean, Key West, we stopped at Porta Plata again, which I love. Yeah, it was just like, it was a dream itinerary. Fort Lauderdale, if I could, I'd cruise out there every time from the Caribbean if I could. Well, I mean, I love Miami, but Fort Lauderdale was special. So,
really?
I just think everything about it, I just loved. But then, obviously, April, I went on Allure, and that was like, phew.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself. I should have booked it last year when I had the chance, but this is a problem I have. I don't book my cruises early enough, and then when I do decide to book Royal, they're like 3 times the price, and I won't pay it.
Yeah, we, again, got a really good deal on that, didn't we? We booked the second sailing from the Amplification, and the ship was phenomenal. I fell in love with all the new things and the mason jar, but not just the mason jar restaurant, the mason jar bar. Obviously, there was the what's it called? The parrot bar.
Pesky parrot,
obviously. The parrot bar. It's like the boardwalk. They just put Playmakers on, which is my favourite. So yeah, it was amazing. And then again, we were off and we did lots of exploring in Barcelona, lots of exploring in Italy, did Cinque Terre, did Sorrento. So that was another special cruise, and it just shows that as long as you're organised, no matter where you go in the world, there's so much to see. And Fort Lauderdale, I mean, when we did Fort Lauderdale, I followed Visit Fort Lauderdale, and we did so many things we wouldn't have done had I not done that. So it's just about learning where you're going, isn't it? And so I think we've had a really enriching year in port.
Yeah, I was going to say, you seem to have really maximised your time in port, haven't you, when you've gone on your cruises? To be fair, like where we went as well, for a lot of our cruises, we equally pushed ourselves to be a bit more adventurous in port and kind of see and do things rather than just have a wander around to look at a church and complain. So equally, like when we did our cruises, we've had a nicer time as well. I just want to touch though, before we jump onto my one then, is Allure, sorry. So obviously she had the Amplification, I think is a great talking point as well about kind of like the evolution of Royal Caribbean, how come they're never staying still, if you get what I mean, and they're not just going in and putting down new carpets or things like that. They're completely changing the concept of some spaces and adding new concepts as well. And it's one thing that I've grown to love about Royal Caribbean, if there's always something and exciting to talk about everything. And I think Allure is a prime example of that Amplification program that Royal are doing, and how come next year as well the ships come to the UK and Europe, they're equally getting amplified, and there's new spaces, new venues, new dining, new food, new drinks. There's always something new and exciting, isn't there, with Royal?
Yeah, and I mean, from when we started cruising when Jack was 10, he's 25 now. So when you look at in that time since we've been cruising, the new concepts that have gone in, and then some stuff like, I mean, do you remember when the Barney Bar went on and everyone was like, whoa, Barney Bar, robot bar? And you do it once and think, oh, right, yeah, that's done now. I mean, it's beautiful and really pleasing to look at, but actually it's a waste of space. And you can see now, but now they're looking at new things, and, I think they've realised the barman is key, definitely. So then you've got the Pesky Parrot, and you've got the Mason Bar, and it's just all part of an experience. And you can just see, like you say, how they're evolving through, adding the water slides, adding the slides, making it better and more exciting and more appealing. So as a Royal Caribbean customer that's been cruising for 15 years, I'm not bored, and I never will be.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to hit on it. And Bionic Bar is a prime example. As you say, it was something revolutionary. It was a big thing, and they had a big song and dance about it, and it was really cool for a long time. And as you say, technology's moved on. The novelty of robots serving you and things like that has kind of died down because they're a lot more commonplace now rather than it being this unique one-off thing. So they've kind of enhanced that space now, and that space is generally becoming the Pesky Parrot on a lot of the ships type of thing, or they're reinventing what that space can be. And I think it's great they do that. They don't just kind of go, well, we nailed that and then walk away and go like cash it in for 30 years type of thing. They're constantly looking at how they can bring new things. And, you know, the Royal Railroad, for example, came to Utopia of the Seas. It was really popular on Utopia. They're now adding it to some of the Icon classes. They're adding it into some of the Oasis class. It's just great to see that they're giving a lot of diversity to the fleet as well. So there's a lot of kind of options and new innovation coming and new experiences. I generally love that about Royal.
And I suppose they're looking at what works, aren't they? Because you're looking at that Chops grill's never going to go. Teppanyaki, that offer now because everybody loves it. Giovanni's, people book them. It looks like Playmakers is here to stay because people love it, a bit like the English pub. But then Wonderland's one that came and everyone went mad for. And that's now on our cruise one of the cheapest things to book for the restaurants. Yeah. So because people have done it and it's an experience, but now they're bringing us new experiences and moving on from that. So it is exciting, and I like the way they evolve. And I think Celebrity are very good at doing that as well. Definitely.
I think it's a Royal Caribbean group thing. If you're gaming, they invest a lot of money on, you know, innovation and pushing their brand forward and pushing what a cruise can be. I think it's why they're kind of the leaders when it comes to kind of pioneering what cruise can be, at least anyway. I don't think anyone, and I'll happily say this, biased opinion, but I don't think anyone can touch them for kind of innovating what you can do at sea. I think Royal do it better than everybody else.
I think if there was one brand I'd like to try for that, but I don't think I'll get Chris to book it, is Disney, because I think the bar concept of the haunted bar, and I think I'd love all that. I think all the concepts of the bars on Disney, but I'm having enough job getting him to California when we go next year to Disney. There's a lot of resistance.
Oh, honestly. Well, if that's one cruise, then let's talk about Disney then, since that's a nice segue into it. But that's one that obviously I'm still banging on about it, even though we're in a Virgin Voyages jumper. I'm still banging on about my Disney cruise, and I haven't quite processed it because I was having a meeting with a sales manager from Disney, and I was like, it's really unfortunate that I went on the Fantasy and done a bucket list cruise for me, and then literally went on another bucket list cruise to China, literally like 3 weeks later, because I haven't had a chance to properly share and talk about how incredible my Disney cruise was and how much that voyage meant to me. So I was very blessed and lucky to get invited on board the Fantasy for a travel agent fam trip, and it just reminded, like, I paid for 2 Disney cruises in the past, so I was already, Disney is probably my favorite cruise line. It's just not the one that I would automatically book straight away because it's quite expensive and because there are certain things about it that don't tick every box for me. But without a shadow of a doubt, if I was earning a lot more money than I was and it wasn't such a big ticket purchase, I would be booking Disney every single day if I could, because I genuinely think nobody does cruising in general better than Disney type of thing. Just everything they do is so elevated, so personal, so magical. If you are a fan of Disney and you've ever wondered, is a Disney cruise line worth the money? It is 100% worth the money. And I get that it's a lot of money, but you get a lot of value for what Disney charge.
I think the rotational dining bothers me. Not the rotational dining, but the eating with other people, because I don't want to do that.
Seats, yeah. I get it. And it is, like I say, there are certain things about Disney that I kind of look and go like, oh God, I got to deal with that again. We were lucky, obviously, we were on the fam trip, so we were with other travel agents. We knew our group that we were traveling with. And to be fair, the 2 times I've sailed, we had one bad table who asked, we sat somewhere else from us, which, you know, is what it is. The other table was lovely type of thing. One thing you do find with a lot of Disney fans is when you get too many Disney fans together, they can sometimes get into kind of the Disney measuring contest of who's done the most Disney, which is fun, but it's also quite tedious type of thing of like, oh, well, I went to Walt Disney World when it first opened in 73. And I'm like, well, I wasn't born then, so I didn't. Younger me did get involved in that kind of like Disney measuring contest of who's done the most. Now I just don't care about it. There is a certain degree of like pride, and you get a lot of that with Disney customers. So that's where sometimes that forced seating can become a problem. But equally, though, as well, it's why their dining is so good, is because it is fixed and they do get to know you and you do have the same waiters every night type of thing. So you kind of, now I've gone back and done it again after doing anytime dining or flexible dining with all the other brands. I kind of have not fallen back in love with assigned dining, but I can see why it was so popular for so long, is because I do think our dining experience was better for Phil and I had a better time dining because we had fixed dining. They knew when we were coming. They knew what we enjoyed. They knew the types of drinks we had. The service was incredible type of thing. Like our glass was never empty. They were waiting for us. A hug type of thing when you come to have your dinner. Where have you been? What have you done? Because you're dining with the same people. The staff get to know you. I cannot fault the service at dining anyway. So I will happily take assigned seating, rotational dining, if it means you get that incredible service with Disney. It is definitely worth persevering through it. Getting over the whole, you could be sat with somebody you may not get on with. You can always ask to move the next day because it's happened to us.
I mean, I don't even like when we travel with friends sitting with them every night. I tell them before we go. No, I tell them I'm having 2 nights off. I'm not sitting with you every night because I want to sit with Chris some nights. And it's funny because we booked a hotel for Christmas just to go just a night away. And one of the boys went, "Oh, I'm off that night." And I just went, "Oh, that's great because you can watch the dogs, but you're not coming." And we do take them away, but yeah, sometimes you just want to do stuff on your own, don't you, as a couple?
I will say, like, I've heard more stories now that they've been sailing a lot more, you've got a higher chance of being assigned a table for 2 if you request one. They've redesigned some of the dining rooms where they can on some of the newer ships to have more 2 tops rather than having 4 or 6 tops type of thing. So it is easier than ever to get a table as a couple now than it was when maybe they first launched, just because, again, they're very aware other brands have introduced flexible dining. So, because of people don't want to be forced to sit with people they don't like. So it is easier than ever, but it is a risk you get type of thing that you may be sat. But if you do like second seating, so you're not on first seating, you're on second seating, you got a higher chance as well. So I would never rule it out. And I talk about the price because it is a factor. You can't deny the fact that it is an expensive cruise, but honestly, the inclusions you get are incredible. The level of everything, the cleanliness of that ship. I was in awe, knowing that ship is pushing 25 years type of thing. And she looked like she was brand new, apart from a little bit. And we're talking, even the weathering was looked after immaculately. From the outside, you would never know that ship was 20 years old type of thing. We're talking minor, subtle little bits of rusting. I was in awe of how incredible that ship looked, knowing she's been sailing and she was just about to go into dry dock. Because I think I have this thing about like ships crawl into dry dock. There's a lot of mentality with some brands of like, oh, well, she's going into dry dock next year, so let's just leave it until she goes into dry dock. She could have been brand new out of dock from launch, as far as you would have concerned. Looking at carpets, windows, furniture, everything was top notch. I generally cannot fault how well Disney look after their ships. They probably look after their ships better than most people in the mainstream cruise category.
I have a cousin and his family. It was their first cruise, and they did Disney, the same one that you did, and it blew him away. It absolutely blew him away. So, and then she said she was depressed getting off. So.
Yeah, no, totally. I was thinking about it weirdly a few weeks ago. It's the only cruise in a long time I generally burst out crying on, just from sheer overwhelm about how incredible it was. Twice it happened. First time was stepping out onto the ship, onto deck, in the Norwegian fjord. So getting into Olsen for the first time, seeing the fjords either side type of thing, and just been blown away by the view alone. But then to see like the Mickey funnel in that environment, something that in my heart I've wanted to do for such a long time. I wanted to do the fjords, but I wanted to do it with Disney. Don't ask me why, I just did. So the reality of finally being there was like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm actually here. This is such an incredible environment to be in, to do this. But then on the last night then, the sail away party, the goodbye party type of thing, where they showed this video, I've mentioned it on the episode we did about it, where they play a video back of the voyage. I just burst out crying of just all the memories come flooding back to me of all the things I've done, making, slime with Stitch, the incredible dining we did, all the cocktails I've been drinking, the characters we met, the shows we watched, everything just washed over me of just kind of like, this is special. This is a magical cruise. This is not just any old cruise that you go where it's like, to a penny, get on, get off. They design it in such a way that it touches you no matter what type of family you are, shape or size you are. They find ways to impact you in ways that no other cruise line can do. And I know we were hosted. I know it was a fam trip, but we would have had that experience because I've had it twice before. I generally cannot say enough about how incredible Disney Cruise Line is.
Do you know what you were saying about that though? That's how I feel when I've only done 2 Oasis class ships, but that's how I feel when I walk onto the boardwalk in Central Park. It's like, I just love it. I love it. So it'll be interesting to go on a cruise next year that hasn't got it. Although I'm really looking forward to it, I will miss that. So what other ships have you done this year?
So then the other one then as well. So equally talking about a ship that I say crawled into dry dock and crawled out of dry dock. And I was quite vocal about this on our episode, was Majestic Princess. We did, and I love the itinerary. I genuinely love the itinerary. We did Majestic Princess repositioning from Barcelona to Southampton. And I had an overall nice time. I'm not going to say anything bad about Princess. I think Princess is a good cruise. I just didn't enjoy our time on board Majestic Princess. Just for how I enjoy my time on board a ship, Majestic didn't hit any of those marks from an entertainment point of view. The food was incredible. We had the premier package, and we ate like kings for the entire time we were on board. And I've heard other people have had issues being able to book their dining if they've got the premier package. We certainly didn't struggle. We managed to eat a speciality every night bar one, and we ate very well. It's just small things like the entertainment just wasn't my cup of tea. I used to think the entertainment was great, but we didn't have a good experience with the shows. They were quite boring, and they were jukebox cabaret shows. But staging wasn't particularly spectacular. And I think it's because I've been spoiled by how great Royal is, how good Disney is, how good Virgin is for their entertainment. I was a bit like, oh, we're back to cruise ship entertainment. And I hate that expression, but when people think cruise ship entertainment, that's what they think of. And no fault on the entertainment, the cast on the whole were really good, just bored. We left one of the shows because I was like, I'm really not enjoying this. And just the layout of how like the Grand Piazza worked. You're trying to enjoy a nice meal with your partner, and like there's some sort of band going on or entertainment going on. You can't have a conversation with the person you're dining with. And I think it's a big flaw. And you mentioned about celebrity when you're dining in the atrium and there's music spilling out and you're trying to enjoy your meal and there's no sound separation, there's no barrier. So, and the fact that all of the specialty restaurants, bar one, are in the Grand Piazza and they overlook it, it became a bit of a problem basically. And I started to get a bit irritated by about day 6 of every meal was shouting or struggling to hear the person sat opposite me.
It's funny, we were talking about this last night at dinner because Chris has got a friend that's going to do a TA to on the Queen Mary 2 across to New York, Caribbean cruise, and then to come back on another TA. And we did it years ago with the boys, and it was our third cruise. So 2 with Princess, 1 with Cunard, and loved it. And he said, I don't know if I'd enjoy it now. And I said, that's because we've moved on in our cruise taste, and now we know what we like. And even though it was fabulous and we couldn't fault it, and it's not the fault of the cruise, it's just we're not their target market anymore.
And absolutely, yeah. I've become a little bit more comfortable in that space of admitting that now. Yeah. I thought I did enjoy the more traditional classical style of cruising, which Princess do incredibly well. I think P&O is in that category, Cunard. It's a very Carnival brand thing. I think Carnival as a brand do that traditional cruise thing. And some people say the old person's style of cruising, and I hate that expression because I think it's not all for old people. Princess is a multi-gen cruise, but it's a very kind of traditional but relaxed version of a kind of old style, traditional style of cruise. And that sounds very judgmental, but I'm not judging it from a place of like, I'm above it. I just prefer the more fun Disney Royal style of cruising.
But likewise, there'll be people listening to the podcast, or if you're watching the video, I have got my favourite space behind me, the boardwalk, and particularly the Ultimate Abyss, which I love. And that is their idea of hell on earth. So
exactly.
And that is why all the cruise lines are packed, because they're creating something for everybody, and we've all found our thing. So, and that's what's wonderful about it.
And I think as well, like talking from the podcast point of view, when we originally launched, we were trying to showcase like the whole spectrum, and we were trying to talk about it. Well, I think as we've gone on, we've just lost interest in talking about anything other than what we enjoy. And I think it's just, we've become more comfortable as well in just admitting to ourselves, but also, at least I have anyway, I'm talking for myself, but I feel like you're the same, I think we both like similar style of cruising, which is why we've got on and why we enjoy doing the podcast. We talk about the brands we enjoy, but I think I've just accepted I enjoy what I refer to as contemporary cruising, which is you know what Celebrity do, Royal do, Disney do, Virgin do. They do contemporary style cruising where it's a little bit, they break some of the old traditional maritime rules. There's no captain's table, there's none of that stuff. Like I say, it's more contemporary, and everyone's got a bit of attitude around this, but I think we need to move away from being a place of judgment and just a way of explaining the differences between cruise, because as you say, there's a cruise for everyone. You just got to find what that cruise is. And
the other cruises aren't bad. People might think that our choices are bad, and that's
absolutely
what makes the world go round and what makes the industry so successful, because everybody knows who these brands know who their audience are, and that's who they're appealing to, and that's who they're providing for. And it's like when I was on Celebrity, my favourite thing about Celebrity was the pool, because I love Royal Caribbean, but I hate the pool.
It is, yeah.
And Oasis class ships, that's why I love Oasis class ships, because there's 4 pools and there is a pool for everybody. But I hate it when you've just got like a small pool and everyone's trying to fight. It's just my idea of hell. Celebrity didn't have that. So you've got to choose what, and look at what you like and go where you're comfortable and what you enjoy doing. And our listeners probably like what we like, because otherwise they'd be really irritated by us. Maybe they are. I don't know.
And it's something like, this is just talking like about the business and that, but it's something I got comfortable in as the business was growing, is to be more confident in just showcasing what I enjoy and doing kind of, they call it attraction marketing. If I talk about something I enjoy, I'm going to attract customers who enjoy what I enjoy as well, because if I enjoy it, other people clearly do as well. And I've just got comfortable in that space of just like, it's not that I don't like other types of cruising. I went on MSC and I had overall a nice time. There were things that I didn't enjoy, but I overall had a nice time. I think what I was going to say, one of my customers jokingly said to me, it was like, oh, you only ever book bougie cruises for yourself. Do you ever book normal cruises? And I was like, well, what do you mean by normal cruises? And she meant P&O. And I was like, yeah, no, absolutely. I said, but I've never been on P&O. I probably never will, because I don't like sailing from the UK. I prefer fly cruises. That's not that I don't sell them. I'm just really bad for talking about things I enjoy more, which is the fly cruise, the American cruise line. So it's just interesting. It's a fascinating topic. And I think it's something that we've gotten a bit bad for not celebrating the rest of the cruise industry, but equally as our podcast.
Yeah, but when you pay for your cruises, you can only talk, and this is you've got to be authentic. And if I went on a P&O cruise and I loved it. I had a really good time.
Yeah.
There was nothing I didn't really like about it. But there's other stuff I love more. And if you're trying to tell people about brands you don't know about, I also think that's really disingenuous and really what's the word for it? Well, it's fake, because I'm talking about something I've no experience of, and that is no use to anybody. Me pretending I'm an expert on something I don't know about. What's the point?
It's also as well, we won't fill an episode either. Like, if we're not passionate about a cruise line, we're not going to fill an episode. Like, and this isn't a slight on Ambassador, but we both did an Ambassador cruise, didn't we? It was an overnight sailing, but we had the chance to sail on Ambassador, and we did have a conversation about we're going to do a podcast, and we both kind of went, not really, because we didn't have enough time on board to really bed in and get to know the brand. But equally, it wasn't something that we both came from and thought, we're going to come away and give it the best review ever, because it's not that we had a bad time, apart from the weather was awful, but that wasn't the ship's fault type of thing. The ship was fine. We had a nice time, but we both admitted, wasn't it? This isn't our cup of tea.
Yeah.
The entertainment isn't our cup of tea. The vibe isn't our cup of tea type of thing. Is there a marketplace for this? 100%. They're selling incredibly well and they're growing. Is it the type of product or type of cruise we will happily champion and talk about and get passionate about? Probably not. So why do a full episode? It'll be 20 minutes long. Most of it will be me moaning about the weather. So let's not do an episode on it.
Yeah, that was my worst muster I've ever done in my life.
But equally, though, we're not going to do an episode talking about why I will never book this cruise ever again. This is the worst cruise I've ever been on type of thing, because equally that's not genuine. We just rather not talk about things if they're not for us. We know they're for someone else. They're just not for us. So we'd rather just share what we love.
My auntie absolutely adores Ambassador. And when I said I love Royal Caribbean, she was like, yeah, but they're very expensive. They're full of kids. And I was like, yeah, but they're not. And like, she's got loads of grandkids. I was like, why would you not want to go with kids? Look, she knows what she loves. So, and that's why we can't go and say that's a bad cruise line, because that's only from our perspective.
Do you get? And we had a chat, obviously, when we created the podcast. We don't want to be the type of podcast that's going to sit there and be negative about something for the sake of it. So and it's not that we want to be kind of either pixie dusting, they call her in Disney. It's not like we want to just talk about glowing, this and the other. But I think the fact that we can fill an hour talking about renovations on a ship from Royal Caribbean, just we are better when we're talking about something we enjoy, and we'll always be honest. I think that's the thing I want to get across with this little mini segue of welcome to a segue on the podcast. We will always be honest about something, but just because we don't talk about something doesn't mean that we don't like it. It's just we're not as passionate about it, and we got things we enjoy more. And I think that's what this episode's about. It's talking about, I don't know where we're going with this. This just came about randomly, I think. I'm trying to justify why we do the podcast. 83 episodes in, I'm trying to justify why we're still doing this.
Well, because people listen.
Somehow. So we move on.
So you did another cruise then. So you did a third cruise.
I did. I know. And this one, I'm still like emotionally on that ship type of thing. But yeah, I was very lucky again to be invited by Royal Caribbean and Travel Weekly to do a 4-night sailing on Spectrum of the Seas from Shanghai to Okinawa, and changed my life. Absolutely changed my life, that cruise did.
And you went to the motherland of pugs, didn't you?
I did. I loved it. And it's something that's been in and out of my basket. You know this. We've been chatting, both of us, on and off for the last year about booking Spectrum of the Seas and doing a sailing. Do you get what I mean? And it's always been a bit like, oh, but what? It's a long way to go. And what if I hate it? And what if this, that, and the other? So to have the opportunity to do it firsthand, to experience it, completely shattered any perception I had about what it's like to sail from China, what it's like to visit China, getting in and out, border control, but to also finally break the seal on visiting Japan as well. And I'm actually, now I've done a lot more research and reflecting as well on Okinawa and learning more about the Okinawan culture, the Ryukyu history, the modern history about the war occupation and how bad Japan was to Okinawa and the people of the Ryukyu kingdom, what it was originally. It's just been so wonderful to kind of go and experience that, and just to kind of realize that the world is so big and there's so much history out there and so much culture out there. And it's kind of just made me a little bit more comfortable, I guess, to kind of just champion something that I knew deep down I loved, but I felt like I had to kind of experience it before I could talk about it with authority. But I'm just so passionate about that part of the world, China and Japan especially, that it's just broken this seal of getting out there and championing about how great those two parts of the world are.
And I think we definitely will go, because I want to go to, where's Diary of a Geisha Girl? Where's that? That's Kyoto. I'd love to go there.
Kyoto, yeah.
Yeah. I'd also like to go to Vietnam. I love, have you seen Miss Saigon and Madame Butterfly? So I'd love to go to Saigon for that reason. But it's just, it's a big trip to plan, isn't it? And like you say, doing what you did just held your hand a bit.
Well, so the point, I had a meeting today actually with our head office to chat more about the planned group trip type of thing. So every week, it feels like it's hard work, but every week I get a little bit closer to kind of getting ready to announce what that group trip's going to look like. Obviously, there's a little bit of uncertainty now. So since we've done the episode, unfortunately, the political tensions between Japan and China have kind of risen a little bit. And a lot of the short sailings, like I did to Okinawa, unfortunately have been changed. They're now going to South Korea instead, just because of tensions over Taiwan. Japan's prime minister has made comments that has upset the president of China. So the president of China has told Chinese people to not visit Japan. So they've changed a lot of the short sailings. So there's now no longer any short sailings to Japan up until September 2026 now, at least anyway. The longer sailings still go to Japan because the longer sailings target international guests more than Chinese guests.
Right, yeah.
Whereas 90% of the people on the short sailings were Chinese. So that's a short-term consequence. And we're, I think, getting closer and closer to having to talk about political tensions more because it's affecting every booking I'm making lately. Someone somewhere in the world is arguing with someone else and it's causing concern about, will I be able to travel? But unfortunately, yes, the short sailings are now no longer going to Japan. So the Okinawa sailing for up until at least September 26 is no longer on the cards. You can now go to Jeju in South Korea instead. So it's still a great sailing. You can still use the transfer visa to do that. It still fulfills all that core stuff that we talked about. Just the short sailings no longer go to Japan. You have to do one of the 8 night or more.
And is there a cruise you can get out of Japan?
Yeah, totally. So I forgot which ship it is. I think it's either Ovation or one of the, it's another Quantum class, goes from, I think, Singapore and does Japan, but also you can do a one around Japan as well on one of the other Quantum classes. I don't know it as well off the top of my head. They're very different experiences. So the ship, the Spectrum of the Seas is run by Royal Caribbean China. So it is a very different ship and runs differently than the other ships. All the other ships that go around are very much Royal Caribbean ships. They're run by Royal Caribbean in Miami. They run the same way. So you are going to find they're targeting American customers, whereas Spectrum's a bit unique. And I kind of fell in love with her because she is a bit unique. She is very Chinese and she's aimed at the Chinese market and she has some charm for that reason. But they're targeting two very different demographics.
Right, I see. Right. And it did look like an amazing trip. And I nearly booked it, but then there's other stuff that we want to do that we've got to do first, really. And that's the problem. There's too many places to go.
Well, that's the thing. So speaking then of too many places to go, what have you got booked then for 2027? No, not 27. We can talk about 27, but should we talk about 26 first?
Yeah. So 26, I've only got one cruise booked at the moment, but we are wanting to book another, just start trying to get the logistics right. So the first one that we have got booked is Odyssey of the Seas, and I've been on Odyssey before. We did originally have another cruise booked. I had a massive panic about going out of Ravenna, and I'm glad because we're travelling with my autistic goddaughter. I don't think she could have coped with the port and the travelling.
No.
So we've booked Rome, which obviously is travelling, but it's easier. So we're doing 3 nights in Rome. We are definitely going to do a tour under the Trevi Fountain in the aqueducts. We're going to do a food tour because we always do a food tour. But yeah, we're going to go under Rome, and then we're doing the cruise around the Greek Isles. So I am really looking forward to that. And I think we went on Odyssey after COVID. I didn't feel that great on that cruise, so I don't know if I had a touch of something.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to enjoying the ship more. Obviously, it was all the face masks and all that. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the ship's phenomenal. I mean, I don't like the pool because there's only one pool. Well, there's two, but there's lots of places, like you say, around deck to enjoy that ship. And I just think it's a great nighttime ship. I love it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I loved evenings on board Spectrum type of thing. So to have all those different venues to go to and to walk the Esplanade as well. And I think she's a great, evening ship, 100%.
But to get round that, we are going to have a fake port day. So that one of the days we are going to stay on the ship when everyone else gets off, and then we'll have a day around the pool. But that's a me problem because some people like a busy pool. I don't. And then the other one is at the end of the year, which we haven't booked, but we're looking at Celebrity, and we really want to do. It's one of the boys is 21, and rather than a party, we're thinking we're going to do from Canada down to Los Angeles, 2 nights out in San Francisco. Celebrity seems to be the only cruise line that do that. There was another. We did look at another cruise line, but they're a bit known for cancelling ports, so we thought we're not taking a risk. So San Francisco's really important. So we're going to do Celebrity stop 2 nights. And then we're going to go to California and hopefully do Disney as well.
Oh, very jealous. Because this year is the 70th, so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when it ends, but they're currently celebrating the 70th anniversary of Disneyland as well. So that'll be quite cool to go back.
Oh, that'll be. And I've never been to California.
No.
So it's got Cars Land, doesn't it? So I think that's because, despite being 21, Joe loves cars. So he really wants to go to Cars Land. So we said, right, we'll do that. Jack wants to go to Alcatraz. Apparently he knows his way round from Call of Duty. I mean, I don't know. Is that a thing? So,
it's a niche hobby to have. Like, I know my way around Alcatraz and I've never been.
Not something you admit. But so they both know that they're going to show us round. We don't need to do a tour. We are doing a tour. Yeah. And I want to see the sea lions in the bay. I want to go to. There's a big cheesecake factory there. Have you had a burger from the cheesecake factory? They're amazing. No. So there's so many things I want to do. I want to do the trolley. So I'm really excited about that. So what about you?
Yeah. God, so 2026, I kind of went into a bit of revenge travel. So where I had nothing booked for this year, I went and booked loads of stuff for next year instead. So our first one is we're going back to Walt Disney World. That's our first trip. It's not a cruise, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because Magical Traveller is the name of the company. So we're going to Walt Disney World in February for 10 nights, and I'm so excited because it's going to be our first chance going back using our vacation club, so our timeshare in Disney. And I'm just really looking forward to getting back there. The last time we went was pre-COVID, and we didn't know COVID was a thing then. So it's going to be so great to go back, do all the new attractions, but also we've kind of extended the trip a bit longer to give ourselves a little bit more time just to relax and enjoy it. And we're currently umming and ahhing about whether to do Epic Universe as well. It's just the tickets are not cheap. And we're already spending. It's not meant to be an expensive holiday. It's meant to be going using our timeshare. But obviously, we have to pay for park tickets for Disney, flights, car hire, all that stuff. So it'll be a shame to go all that way and not do Epic Universe. But we'll see if we end up going there. We still haven't booked it yet. And
what's new at Disney that you haven't done?
God, where'd you begin? Technically, Rise of the Resistance is new to us. We did do it in California when we went. Well, we did it in California because it was open when we went to California, but it's new to us in Walt Disney World.
So have you not done all the new Star Wars land? Was that not there when you went?
Yeah.
Oh, that was there.
Yeah, so when I first went, so Smuggler's Run was open, the Millennium Falcon attraction, that was open, and so was the land, just Rise of the Resistance. They'd done this stupid, 12-month launch, didn't they? So they opened Smugglers and then opened Rise. But in the time, we then went to California where they were both open. So we've done Rise of the Resistance in California, not in Florida.
Right.
So it's one of those, technically it's new,
right.
But we have been on a version of it. So that'll be good anyway to kind of just go back and experience the Florida version of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Ratatouille is new. Technically, we've been at Disneyland Paris, but it is new in Epcot. Again, they were building it when we went. Journey of Water, the Moana walkthrough attraction is new. So we get to do that. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is technically
Oh,
new as well. Again, they were building that when we went. That was one of those attractions that was never going to open. The whole new Epcot entrance, so World Celebration, that's all new as well. So we get to go kind of see that now. It's no longer a construction site. Tron is also new. That was again being built when we went. So we get to finally go on that and see that done. What else is there? They are going to be Big Thunder Mountain is coming out of refurbishment with its new update as well. So she's been
right.
retracked and had all new special effects. I believe the day we land is when she reopens. So that'll be good to do that. The new Zootopia attraction, Zootopia Together Day, is going to be opening in Animal Kingdom. They're the ones I could think of.
Was
I'm pretty sure
Pandora
there's more.
there?
Pandora was
Last
there. I
time.
think she was a year or two old by that point. So we've been on
Right.
Pandora when we last went. I think they're the headline things. There's a lot of soft stuff. So I'm trying to write a blog and write a video about what's coming to Walt Disney World in 26. 26 seems to be the year of improvements. I don't think there's any like big headline
No.
stuff coming in 26 because we've had a lot of headline stuff. They've obviously done a lot of groundbreaking for the stuff that's coming beyond. So like you've got Rock and Roller Coaster is getting rebranded to the Muppets. That doesn't open until summer though, so we won't be there for when we go. But that's kind of, it is new, but it's an overlay to an existing attraction. So it's one of those like, it is new, but there's also like the Star Wars, I forgot what it's called, the Star Wars experience. So not the land, but the walkthrough attraction where you can meet the characters. That's getting rethemed and rebuilt into a Disney animation experience instead. So that'll be where there'll be like character meet and greets and you go behind the scenes of Disney animation. So again, it is new, but it's a repurposing of an existing space to make it something new. Oh, the Little Mermaid show, that's new as well. So the new Little Mermaid show in Hollywood Studios, that's again a refresh of the show. That's an update. So that's new. There's a lot of that type of stuff going on in 2026. So a lot of attractions are getting kind of like updated, refreshed. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin is getting updated with all new segments, new interactive elements. The guns are going to be different. The scoring's different. New characters. So again, but that opens in the summer. Frozen is getting updated with all new animatronics as well to kind of bring the new Hong Kong version of the Frozen animatronics over to Florida. So there's a lot of that stuff is the only way I can explain 2026. There's a lot of like enhancing what is already there rather than there's a whole new attraction. However, they have obviously started groundbreaking for the new Cars Land, the new Villains Land. There's all new big stuff coming down the line.
I'd do it every year, but Chris won't. I mean, I will be going to California. If we go to California, we are going because Universal as well. There's just no other feeling than being at Disney and Universal. There's just not. Not even a cruise. Sorry, but not even a cruise.
I have rekindled my love for it. I didn't say I fell out of love. Just during COVID, it became very difficult to sell because they were changing the rules and what was happening by the week. So it became very complicated to sell Disney. And I think going back to Disneyland Paris recently, going on a Disney cruise this year has reminded me why I love them and why what they do so well. And I've never fallen out of love with it, but I've just stopped talking about it because it just turned into one of those like, oh, but they've done this, but they've done that. Now they're back on the track and they're kind of moving. Everyone's got opinions on the decisions they're making, but I do think they're making decisions for the right reasons. And I'm really, really excited to see kind of how the new Cars Land comes out in the Magic Kingdom. Villains Land's going to be incredible. To see the Coco attraction, Indiana Jones come to Animal Kingdom. I'm so excited by what's coming down the line type of thing that I think I'm going to be back in the Disney hardcore fan territory and making regular plans to go back to Disneyland Paris, but also Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I think it's just exciting. So what? I can't believe I said that I'd prefer Disney to cruise and Universal, but I want to do both in one holiday. I want to do both in one holiday.
Yeah.
That's my ideal holiday: a Royal Caribbean cruise and then a week at Universal. I'd be happy. So go on then. What else have you got planned? Because I know you've got a really
the next
big year.
I got two big ones then. So the next one as well, and this is one that we've had booked for ages. It feels like it's not coming fast enough. We're doing Alaska, but we're doing it with Virgin Voyages. So I'm very, very, very looking forward to that cruise now. We were close to cancelling it just because it's quite an expensive one with the flights, the hotels and everything over that kind of part of the world. And it's a long cruise as well. But we had some good news recently and it means we can put it back on the table again now. So we are committed. We're doing it. So in May, we do... She's not the Mermaiden, which I'm annoyed with Virgin and I'm going to fight them on board. But the Mermaiden is technically the voyage after hours because that's when she's going to do a round trip from her home port of Seattle. But we're doing the first sailing where she goes from Vancouver for 10 nights down to Seattle. So I'm going to use the word inaugural, which Virgin don't use, but we're on the very first anyway, Alaska sailing for Virgin Voyages. So it's going to be really nice to kind of see Brilliant Lady. It'll be our first proper sailing with Brilliant Lady just experiencing firsthand what it's like with the changes they've made to her to make her slightly more outward facing and see how she actually copes doing cold weather cruising, because that has been a concern of mine with Virgin Voyages. But there's all new entertainment to try, new dining, so it's going to be really exciting to get back on board with Virgin, because it'll be almost 2 years, I think, since I've been on board Virgin at that point.
So Alaska then, because Vancouver is in Canada, isn't it?
Canada.
So where does it go? It goes up and back down then?
Yeah, so with Alaska, and we probably will, after that, we'll do another episode on Alaska, because our Alaska episode is actually really popular. But there's two main ports that service Alaska anyway. Obviously, one then is Seattle, servicing from America, and then you've got Vancouver servicing from Canada. The port in Canada is quite small, which is why some of the bigger ships, like the Quantum class ships and that, don't sail from Vancouver. You tend to get mid-sized ships sailing from Vancouver. Where am I going with this? Oh, sorry. So, yeah, obviously they have to make one international port of call. Obviously, if they're originating in Vancouver, you don't have to make a port of call in Canada to justify the maritime law where you have to make an international port. Whereas if you sail from Seattle, sometimes they have to throw in a Canadian port, which some of them do a half-day call at, I forgot the name of it. I think it's Victoria Island. Don't quote me on that one, but there's an island that is technically Canada, that's down south of it's like below Alaska, that they call in for half a day to satisfy the international law to make it that is not I forgot what it is. There's a certain law where they have to do an international call anyway. So there's pros and cons to both as to why people do it. But generally, yeah, you'll do the same route. So there's like a handful of routes you can do. The Inside Passage is the common one, the 7-day one. So you can do that from both Seattle and Vancouver. Just depends on where you embark if they have to throw in a different port to satisfy this round loop service. But you'll do the same ports. You'll do Ketchikan usually. You'll do Skagway. You'll do Juneau. They're the three main ports that you do on an Inside Passage. But we're also going to a few other ports that are part of the bigger loop that you usually do on a northbound, southbound, where you do kind of to Whistler and down. Right,
so we're doing Vancouver down, aren't we, when we book it to Los Angeles? Yeah. Which is why you threw me.
Yeah, so it'll probably be another repo, basically, so it's probably the end of the Alaska season.
No,
which ship is it again you're looking at?
They just do that all the time.
Oh, do they?
Celebrity
you're
Millennium.
doing one of the older ships, aren't you?
Yes, it goes up, down. The reason we're doing an older ship is because it's that 2 days in San Francisco. I just think the risk of going on a cruise with a cruise line that might cancel it is just too big. Where I know that Celebrity, if they've got 2 days booked in, that's going to happen.
Yeah. There's a whole episode and a whole conversation we can have about kind of like ships' itineraries and how they work, of just a case of like the new ships will generally do the boring itineraries. And I say that with love. I don't say that with like animosity.
Not boring.
But generally,
they're not boring.
Well, you're quite passionate about this, but you know what I mean? Like, so like, Legend's coming over, and Legend is doing the same ports that Royal have been doing from Barcelona forever, type of thing, whereas the older ships tend to get put on the interesting itineraries type of thing, where they're not the standard regular ports, if you get what I mean. It's more that conversation about it really than anything of, if you're looking for something that's off the beaten path, you're generally going to be on one of the older ships in the fleet, whereas if it's the headline, tried and tested ports, is the most political way I can say it, you're likely going to be on one of the newer ships.
Do you know what I feel about you saying those ports are boring? How you feel about me going down to go up in the lift? That's how strongly I feel about it. What is boring about Naples, about going to, Sorrento, going to the Cinque Terre? What is boring about it? It's just the most exciting ports in the world to me.
I know, they're boring. I'm being flippant. They're not boring, but I just mean like they're not sexy, if you get me. Like, people get excited when you see kind of obscure ports that don't appear on itineraries. And we're talking like, it comes back to contemporary cruising versus traditional cruising. Traditional cruise lines are better, in my opinion, than the contemporary cruise lines are going off to random places and going off to obscure places, because they tend to have an older fleet, a smaller fleet that can fit into these, off the beaten path ports. And again, this is where some of that snobbery comes to, oh, well, I prefer real cruising, where I go off to some port that nobody's ever heard the name of. That's what the smaller fleets are better off at doing. Whereas the mainstream cruisers, the contemporary cruisers, they're bigger. They're usually, mid-sized, plush-sized ships, and they can't fit into every port, which is where they go to the standard. And I say it with love. I don't mean it like who's
ports, such as Naples, where you can go to Sorrento, Capri.
Yes.
Postiano, is it? You can go to Mount Vesuvius.
Yeah.
You can do the catacombs. I arrest my case just on that port.
No,
alone. Moving
I'm
on.
being flippant, but like, but that's what you're going to get, type of thing. You're going to find the older ships will do those, as you say, those overnights in San Francisco, because that is the appeal. They go into places that the bigger ships won't stop off because they can't, basically. So yeah, that's just our observation. But moving on before I get banned from my own podcast. The last cruise of the season that I currently have booked, at least anyway, is one that we've been talking about all year because I can't shut up about it. But I have Legends of the Seas booked for October, and I'm counting down the days. I can't wait. Like, it's unfortunately become the highlight of the year. It's overshadowed. Even Alaska is overshadowed because I'm going to be on Legends of the Seas, and I generally can't wait.
Oh, I mean, I'm not doing this for 2027, but I am genuinely beside myself to go on that ship and share that with
Honestly,
all the people that know how obsessed I am with Oasis class ships. I mean, what must this ship be like? And I cannot wait. I know I'm going to take a million photos, a million videos. It just looks phenomenal.
Do you know what? It's funny. Everyone I've spoken to, and I've been invited to a lot of like Royal Caribbean events, and I've also spoken to other travel agents. Everyone who's been on board an Icon class ship, they all say the same thing of like, "Oh, it was just amazing." And it's like, "Oh, what was it about it that was amazing?" Everything. They just can't like express what they can't express what they loved about it. And when a ship is that incredible that you can't express what you loved about it, makes me go, that's something I want to get on. When people struggle to say how good something is, that's what makes me excited. That's what makes me go, travel is special when you can't express in a few words how good it is.
And that's how I felt coming late to the party to Oasis class. So I just can't imagine what this is going to be like. I just can't.
Yeah.
I just know that I'm going to love it. Before I'm even on it, I just know it's going to be amazing. And just to have it in Europe, a new ship. I know that we've had new ships before, but not like a new. Well, we have had new ships, but this one.
Do you know what? The one thing I will say as well, you would think because Icon's been sailing now for almost a year and we now have Star also sailing, you would have thought like, oh, there's going to be loads of people who would have had the chance to get on board Icon class. And yes, there has been a lot of people because there's two ships and they can take roughly 7,000 per voyage type of thing. But there's still not that many people who have actually been on an Icon class ship. It is rare to find people, especially in the UK. It's rare to find people who've had the chance to get on an Icon class ship because it's only been a year since this incredible new class of ship has been sailing and people have had the chance to get on board type of thing. So it is going to be incredible to have that ship, and Royal are promising some big things for kind of the launch now because it is close to home. I have like small little things like they've started giving out little booklets about the ship. It's all the website basically in a book. So you're not missing anything, Sarah, other than I've got a nice embossed little hand booklet.
Just showing off all your things that I keep sending you. Kieran.
What? Oh, your mug.
You take your
mine's
book
upstairs.
and
I finally got
will
one.
write you a mug. I use these all the time.
I finally have one. I literally, like on Spectrum, they don't give them out on Spectrum, so you had to ask for it. But we all made a point of going and asking for it because we were like, no, we want our drinks package mug.
No, you still have to ask for it. But because I drink so much water, obviously it's worth having.
Yeah, well, they said they've started they've started making you ask for it because people were just leaving them in the cabins or they were unsealing them and leaving them. And obviously it's a plastic waste type of thing. So that's why they've added a step whereby you have to ask for them. But I finally have my Royal Caribbean drinks package mug, finally, next to my princess one.
Oh, so yeah, it's been a good year, hasn't it? And there's a good year coming up.
I'm very grateful for this year to do two. And to be fair, like even Princess, like it was my least favorite of my 3 cruises, but I still had a nice time. The food was incredible. The port, Gibraltar will stay with me for a very, very long time. That was such an incredible port to visit type of thing. And I do look back fondly on where we visited on that itinerary. And again, it comes back to what I was alluding to of, certain brands, certain ships you have to go on because of the itinerary rather than the ship itself. And I think Princess was an example of that, where we picked for the itinerary rather than the ship. But yeah, last year, this year even was incredible. Disney, to get back on board and fall back in love with Disney was amazing. To do Spectrum was amazing. And I'm equally ecstatic of what I'm going to get to do next year, to kind of do Alaska with Virgin Voyages, which I'm so keen to get back on board Virgin as well and get a feel for this new ship and the new kind of changes they bring into Virgin Voyages. That's going to be exciting to do. And to go back to Alaska, do some new ports, see a new glacier that I've not got to see before as well. That's going to be exciting. And Legends, there's no denying Legends going to be a highlight as well. I forgot. We have a Disney cruise booked as well. Just casually, we booked. Yeah, we've had it booked and I've just forgot about it. I put a deposit down on a whim because it came out on sale. So we booked one of the 3-nighters from the UK.
Right.
Just when we didn't know we were going to be on the fam trip. I was like, I really want to get back on board Disney for, experience it and whatever. So we did put a deposit down on a 3-nighter on the Dream next year. We haven't decided if we're keeping it, which is why I probably keep forgetting all about it. But at the moment, it is there in the system to go on next year. So there's a strong chance I could be on board Disney as well in the summer months next year.
Exciting.
So guys, I hope you've enjoyed kind of this wander very casually down memory lane and excited ramble from me and Sarah about what we're looking forward to next year. If you are going on, you've got your own cruises booked, we definitely would love to hear where you're going as well. So by all means, feel free to chime into the comments or leave us a review. We don't get enough reviews on Apple Podcasts. So by all means, please do leave us a review and let us know what cruises you're looking forward to. And even if, and what I'd love to know actually is if we've inspired you to book a cruise. I think I would love to know if you've actually taken anything. You've either booked a shore excursion because of Sarah's advice or tips, or if you booked a cruise because of our ramblings. It would actually mean quite a lot to us, I think, to know that we are inspiring people to book cruises.
And just
so we know that people are actually...
Just let Kieran know if you think that traditional itinerary that is so exciting is boring. Do you agree with me or Kieran?
We would let us know definitely in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, and I believe on Spotify you can actually leave in the comments as well. We generally would just love to know if you've actually been inspired by anything we've said or booked because of what we said, or if you totally disagree. If you're polite about it, we'll take it on board. But yeah, if you are ever interested in booking any of the cruises, whether they're a boring 7 nights around the Med or something else, I would definitely love to help you. You can find me online everywhere under magical-traveler.com, or my social media is magical TRVLR. Or if you want to get inspired to travel, Sarah, where's the best place that guys can find your content?
So for cruise reviews, if you want to actually see how we felt about cruise, then Mini Travelers, plus we've got lots of worldwide inspiration over there for all sorts of holidays, not just cruise. And if you want to just find out cruise facts and tips, then they're on Mini Travelers. No, they're not. No. God.
No, they're not. I was going to say,
they're on Cruising with Kids. You weren't listening, Kieran, were you? They're on Cruising with Kids.
I was. Where I was like, you know where your content is better than I do.
You can find me on one or the other. That's the important thing.
I said we haven't had a drink either. That's the worrying thing about this episode is we haven't had a drink.
I never do it well, that bit. Never.
Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and we'll see you in the new year. Thank you for this year. It's been incredible. Like I say, we would love a review. But other than that, thank you for listening along with us and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Merry Christmas. Bye.